I grew up in Hawaii, which is over 90% Asian. Before I moved to the US mainland, my only experience with racism were the stories my parents told me about going to college here during the 1950s.
So I called up Adobe Illustrator. First I called up Adobe and then I would direct to Adobe Illustrator customer service, and I waited for a while. And this person came on the phone. He identified himself as Robert. I asked him a couple of questions about the features, and then I said, "Well, let me think about it and talk to my husband." And then just right before I was gonna hang up, he turned around and said, "Oriental are cheap," and then he hung up the phone.
Would it have been different if Robert had said Asians are frugal? The Hawaiian people have a saying that your mouth is the most dangerous weapon in the world because of the harm you can do with the words you say. The word Oriental is not an insulting word when used in the right context. Oriental is used to describe objects. When I was 12, a doctor described me in his medical report as an Oriental male. I thought this was the wrong term to label a person. I felt Oriental referred to the carpet on my grandparents' living room floor.
And just make that racial slur and then hung up, without any, etiquette, any professional manner at all. As I was upset for like that night. I couldn't sleep at all because how could there such be an insensitive person been hired by Adobe?
Well, she was pretty upset about it, so and she definitely wanted to do something about it. And so after she handed the phone to me, I talked to Robin and I asked, "Well, where's the manager?" And she said, "There's no manager on duty at this time." So I said, "Okay." So they're telling me that the only option is to leave a message with you and the manager will call me back. He said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, I'll go ahead and do that." And I told her what had happened. So this guy said, "Orientals are cheap," and hung up the phone. And Robin said, "Yeah, that was terrible." And she said that she would, talk to the manager, contact the manager, and the manager would call me back. So I said, "That's fine." So I left my work number. I didn't leave my home number because, of course, if they're going to call back the next day, then I'm not going to be home. So then we went to sleep, and when I got to work the next day, there was a call. But the call was at around 11 o'clock at night. And so and of course we made the call at 10 o'clock, between 10 and 10:30 that night. So obviously there was a manager on duty. And so she said, "Call me back," and stuff. So that's what started it.
These are the types of cases which are really small but could end up being very big. Some psychological surveys on hate crimes have shown that if you allow a permissive atmosphere of hate crimes and bias-related slurs, it leads up to bigger incidents. So in one sense, we have to respond quickly when it's still small. So in one sense, this is a very easy way to respond to something very small and to kill it before it ends up becoming something very big. These are cases that sort of fall between the gaps. They're cases that the federal government or state government's not willing really to look at, and it's not something that even community agencies can spend a lot of time doing because it happens all the time. So the power in these cases are getting the community to respond to these incidents. And I think in both cases we were pretty successful. It's not a common thing. It's something we're starting to look at specifically because of incidents that happened last year there was an incident down at UC Irvine where a Mr. Machado sent an email out to Asian American students threatening them if they didn't leave UC Irvine. We've started to monitor hate crime on the net. So working with hate crimes and bias-related incidents is not something new, but the form is new. Working on the internet is something new to us.
So we didn't get any response, and we went ahead and sent it out to Patrick and a lot of different friends. And Victor also suggested a website which was called
Culture Society.
It was
M Society.
M Society West. It's kind of an Asian American young people's, like maybe 20s or 30s club. So we sent it to there, and I posted it up, and it's like kind of like you just type up your letter and post it. It's kind of like a email posting. And so we did that, and I also forwarded it to another group called the Asian American Outreach Organization, and that's how we got a lot of community support. Should we really be in the business of reacting to everything that happens in the Asian American community, you know, these slurs and stuff? Shouldn't we concentrate on more serious stuff? And it's like, my response to that is, well, you got to stop it somewhere. You have to. This is just a symptom of the problem. This is of a greater problem. This is not a small incident when you look at the problem, which is stereotypes.
But, you know, just because you Asian, people think that, you know, you the quiet type. Yes, you are, but only for the right reason. If people accuse you wrongly, you should have this. You should stand up for what you believe in, and correct people, because prison, if you're not, people are gonna take over you and walk over you. I mean, for the wrong reason, they mistreat you, and I don't believe in that.